Hello everyone, welcome to the 18th tutorial in the series of Complete Guide to React.js. In this tutorial, we will learn how to bind events. Before that, there was a lot of questions that has been raised and some comments has been there. And what people have been asking is like, is it possible to put the click handler outside the class, outside the render method was their question. Yes, you can do it. But at that time, what you need to do is you need to remove this function and it would throw you some exceptions. And over here, you have to mention it outside and on click, what you have to mention is you have to mention this dot click handler rather than click handler. So by that way, we can we can get this particular event binded. So there were a lot of questions on my last tutorial, and hence I just want to throw some synopsis over here so that you don't get confused. So let's come back to this particular tutorial in where we are going to bind an event. At first, we will see why we need to bind an event. So for that, I'm going to take the same class which I have used in my last tutorial, which is nothing but class login.js. And in app.js, I'm going to remove login.js, which is a functional component which we have created in last tutorial. So I'm going to save this as well as class login.js. And I'm just going to take a look at the browser. There is only one class login button is there, and I'm just clicking on it. The event is getting handled. So say for example, I am setting a state like this. So if I want to set a state, I need a constructor. So we have a code snippet for that. It is con, right? Yeah. So over here, I'm going to set a state, and the state value is nothing but message, and what it carries is it carries hi, how are you, like this. So in button click, there is a div tag is there, and over here I'm going to write something like this, h1 and h1, and over here I am going to click, I'm going to put what are all the contents over here that I have in the state. So how I will be doing is this dot state dot message, and I'm just going to put that in the braces so that it gets displayed. So I'm saving this, and once clicking on class login, what I'm going to do is instead of this message which is hi how are you, I'm going to set it. Once I click the button, I'm going to set this particular message to I am doing good. So over here I'm going to do a set state, and how to do that, this dot set state which we have already learned in the previous tutorial, and in this I'm going to put message colon I am doing good. So will this bit be working? Let's see. So I'm going to, yeah, it has been refreshed, and by the default this message is coming over here, and my thinking is once I am clicking this it should modify to I am doing good. Let's click and see what happens. So on clicking it, it is giving me an error message saying that cannot read property set state of undefined. So it is saying that the set state method is undefined over here. That means in this that set state is being not defined. So we will see what is it, why it is showing like that. So I'm going to comment out this code and I'm going to comment out this code and I'm just going to put an alert message and or console log, whichever you want. And in this, I'm going to give this. Let's see what happens. Usually it is used to give an alert name called an object is present. So I'm clicking on this. I'm not doing set state right now. Instead, it is going to give an alert message. So it is saying that this itself is undefined. So in JavaScript, that this word is too keen because it is having very importance and it is having accessible to lot of other properties like this particular class and the hierarchies and other things which we are going to see in the other tutorials. So that this word is a problematic one, and that's why in recent times hook concepts also came in React. So in order to make sure that this particular content is available, what we need to do is we need to bind this. And how am I going to do that is in this click handler, I'm going to write dot bind, and in this I'm going to pass this variable. So what I am telling over here is once I am clicking a button at that point of time, I am saying that to my function, see, we have a property name called this, use it, and this would be used over here. And once it is used, it is saying that this dot, when this particular object, this is getting binded, and when I'm setting that this dot set state, at that time it would take the object value and it would get displayed. So let's see what happens right now after clicking the button. I'm clicking class login. Um, that alert message was still there, and that's why it is giving me a pop-up and it is saying that I am doing good. That means this particular message has been set. In previously, it was not set because the binding was not happening properly. So this is what I want to explain in this particular tutorial. Like going forward, if we are setting any particular contents in the functions, make sure that you need to bind that this, which is nothing but event binding. This is called as an event binding. And there are also many other ways where you can do event binding, which we will see in the next tutorial.